Could there be a show that has more stuff that's in depth than maybe Lost Dimensions, the entire series, or maybe even more character building than Defenders 4 and any of the other Defenders? Not saying these are bad by any means. I mean, they're amazing films. I love them. I'm in some of them. But could there be a film that maybe gets something just right? Well, that's what we're taking a look at today. In this video, me and Goose, or otherwise known as that Stikbot channel, watched a video. Not only any video, but a recent video that just came out about a Stikbot YouTuber who is semi-underrated. Basically, a movie he made. Oh, basically, an entire series he made over the course of, from what I can understand, a couple months ago, all recapped into one big movie. So we watched it together. This is not going to be a live reaction, but more an analysis of the show, and why this guy may have a pretty good understanding of what these Stikbot videos should be and have. I have to say, I'm excited, and I hope you are too. So before we talk about me duct taping myself to my chair, I want to give some backstory. I discovered Cody a couple months ago. He came up in my recommended, and I was pretty interested. He seemed like an upcoming Sticktuber, had a bit less subscribers than me, but quickly was growing at a really fast rate and producing a series almost every day. I was skipping around through some of the episodes of the series he was working on, and it was called Stikbot Stand, a show basically about, well, I actually didn't know at this time. I was only skipping around the episodes and thought this would make a good video. When out of nowhere he dropped this as the time of making this 2 weeks ago, and I was like, okay, you know what, it's just destined to be. I might as well watch this. And also, I just want to say, that is a pretty sick, thumbnail. Now, maybe the movie part is my favorite. You probably could have put the Stikbot Stand in the movie or something, but that is a sick thumbnail. So, before this happened, he's an hour and 10 minutes long, so I wanted to, prepare myself. So I asked some people around, and, that Stikbot channel, or Goose, was like, hey, I'll do it with you. So basically, we watched the movie together. It was really good. Not pretty good, it was really good. I would definitely recommend this. This video is going to contain some major spoilers, but, also it might be kind of interesting to watch this first. But it'll be linked in the description of the pinned comment, so make sure to watch it there. But anyway, so yeah, let's go into the masterpiece that is Stikbot Stand. We start off with our main character, or one of our main characters. The show has a lot of characters. Well, actually a bit. It's like Defenders, basically. We start off with this guy over here, basically, just walking, chilling, when all of a sudden, he's just, observing the beautiful view that is the house, when all of a sudden, a portal appears out of nowhere, which is very strange. He goes back to tell his friend, John over here, who is going to be our, technically, if we had to choose one, main character. He tells him what happened, and, they go to inspect it again, because, portals appearing out of nowhere is kind of weird. So, they go over, and they're like, alright, this is a portal. They're driving, or actually they're not driving. He brings his gun, because it might be dangerous or something. Go over here, they check the portal. Out of nowhere, this guy pops up. And now they're like really scared or whatever. Eventually, after battling, and this blue guy over here bringing a lot of his men, everyone gets injured pretty much. When out of nowhere, this pistol fire comes from. This person right here, they're attacking them. So, what's going on here? Well, if you notice in the back of their holster, they have, like in their back holster, whatever, there's a sword. And this sword, basically, it deflects things. It is the all-powerful sword. This sword, super special. And basically, it has power that's contained. So, this person over here, she's basically saving them from this guy. So this blue translucent Stikbot over here knows this other green translucent Stikbot. Basically, it's his boss. And he is trying to get an army and stuff to take basically every Stikbot around the world. This guy is trying to capture. So that way he's able to get the golden sword that our previous character possesses. And also, another item which we're about to talk about in a second, to basically possess ultimate power. And the interesting part about this, I'm probably going to talk about this a lot, is that this is basically like Toy Story. They're conscious of where they are. It's not like they're in a different world. They are literally in they're in someone's house. This is like they're living like this. They're conscious that they've been around since 2015. It's really interesting and refreshing to have a different side of this, I guess. I know that a lot of people have done similar stuff before, but it's nice to see almost like a reviving Bionicle take, which is my favorite show of all time. So, yeah. Anyway, back to this. So basically, this girl over here, she has like this power, kind of. She's basically from this race, which is, I believe they're called Renas or Arenas, and we watch it with captions, but like his mic was a little. I mean, it wasn't horrible. It was just sometimes it was hard to understand what's going on. Anyway, so she basically her with her parents, she finds this sword when she was really young, and basically they say it's too dangerous for her, but she like keeps it anyway or something. Crazy. But anyway, so she hasn't seen them in a while due to her being from like a different universe, kind of like almost like, kind of like Lost Dimensions, but I'm gonna say it's kind of like more like a different. They say a different planet, so I guess I'll go with that. But I think in this scenario it'd be almost like a different household. So basically she's from a different household, which is she came from the portal from what I understand. And so she hasn't seen her parents in years, and she has this sword which basically grants a bunch of power, and the other guy wants because he'll be able to get ultimate power. So they basically kind of have to protect the sword and protect her or whatever. Except, here's the thing. The guy would be powerful enough with just a golden sword, but this isn't all. He needs one more thing. Now, right before we get back to that one thing, I want to mention that basically he has all like these really cool, monsters that, like the main villain, and all these monsters that he can use at his disposal, and armies of people who can fight. So basically, he's almost unstoppable in a way. Ironically, that's a scene where he gets stopped. So now we get introduced to this girl and her pet dog, who, from what I remember, goes by Maxon. So, they're just chilling in the steps on the porch or garage door, I guess, and all of a sudden, what's that? Who just ran by? Well, okay, so basically, remember I was talking about how there's all these monsters and minions? Yeah, so one of them was sent after her, and at first you might be like, well, why? The guy's only getting the sword, the golden sword, and that's with the other girl. But no. See, for some reason, she found this, axe in a rock, and for this, I forgot if it exactly was or not, but for the sake of whatever, it was golden, and basically it possessed similar powers, and once combined, he can basically have ultimate power. Eventually, this girl meets this dragon who's on screen right now, and they become friends, and yeah, it's like a How to Train Your Dragon scene, but that can be important for later. Anyway, so yeah, she possesses an axe which holds a lot of power, and the other girl possesses a sword that holds a lot of power. But the thing is, they don't exactly know each other at this point. Kind of. We'll get to that. Sorry for the confusing wording, I'm trying my best. Eventually, after narrowly escaping death, we get introduced to one of my favorite characters, the old grandpa. Yeah, he basically passed out. So, he does not like dragons. He eventually comes around, but he does not like dragons. So, yeah, this is her grandfather, who will be important later, and in some ways is kind of like the secret hero. So basically, eventually the bad guy, the Grim, the black, translucent skull guy, he attacks him. So not very good, but eventually he escapes. Kinda think of it as a warning. Now cutting back to Logan, Cody, and John, and the other girl, I forgot her name, I think. Basically what's been happening with them is, I think it was Logan, but I might be wrong. He offered to give them a tour of, the house, basically understand, hey, what's going on. So, even though I didn't finish the tour yet, they're very excited. It was a pretty good tour, at least I assume so, because they talk about it for a bit. But anyway, they're talking about it, pretty cool tour, when out of nowhere, some bad guys attack. And I love the use of these Bionicle parts and stuff, it's really well done. What then proceeds is a really cool fight scene. So yeah, I really like this. This is amazing. And while maybe this isn't the best fight scene, by far one of the highlights of this show are the fight scenes. And yes, while they're done at a slow frame rate, that does not mean that they're bad. That just means that they have more opportunities, I guess. I guess from when I was watching this with Goose, what we were noticing was that, like, imagine when in animation, when someone is like, when something's slow motion is going to happen, usually the frame rate goes really slow. And because the frame rate is already relatively slow, it gives, I guess, more opportunity for these attacks and fights to be really good. Also, they add like these little effects with, fighting and like maybe blood splattering, and I think that that really adds to kind of just like, if you can't see an impact, it really highlights it, and it's amazing what they did. Back to the story though. The girl gets kidnapped in the fight, despite it being a pretty epic fight. Yep, I know, perfect music right there. But yeah, so they're just talking about, what if she's dead? What if she's gone forever? No, but yeah, you get it, the idea. Now, something I actually kind of thought was kind of funny, I don't know if he did this on purpose, but that remote right there, it says Cody, and I'm pretty sure one of the characters in this shot is actually named Cody. I think it's I want to say that is the glow-in-the-dark stikbot, but I don't know for sure. Anyway, yeah, so, they're talking, hanging out, pretty cool. You know what, actually, while I'm on the discussion of Cody, the guys who actually made this show, I think, yeah, that's the character. I think that's actually like his real name. Like, he actually is Cody. Like, that literally he named him after that character. So, pretty big. After what me and Goose thought was a kind of funny discussion with her grandfather about what is essentially, why don't you like dragons? Or why do you prefer this kind of monster? The reason why we kind of thought this was funny, because, this is, pretty big stakes. I mean, to control a bunch of stickbots and have two of the most powerful weapons on Earth, that's pretty big. And there's, what's your favorite monster? But, anyway, excusing that, they also go into a pretty epic fight scene where, remember how I was saying the grandpa was kind of one of the underrated fighters?
Next time, eat a salad!
After they defeated them, we see the three amigos pop out of a cushion thing, like a couch, and they see a jeep just with the enemies, a little suspicious, when out of nowhere they're looking down. That was a perfect music cue right there. They're looking down, and they see that their friend's getting dragged behind. Me and Goose were saying that if this was real, kind of, that she would probably have been reduced to atoms, because it would have, basically been like sandpaper. That is so evil, oh my god. Anyway, so our main character, John, grabs onto her, and yeah, then they start firing, and what proceeds is a pretty sick fight scene, I must say. A scene that I wish I could do. Also ignore the beeping, that's just in the music. But anyway, so yeah, after a pretty cool fight scene, they eventually rescue her, and everything's kind of back to normal. Kind of. Alright, so remember our good old mafia boss over here? So, he has two people that work for him that are, kind of leading in command. This guy, who's a translucent blue stickbot, and the translucent black grim stickbot. So, translucent black grim is getting the axe, who's about to be shown on screen. And the translucent blue stickbot is trying to get, the golden sword, which has been shown on screen prior to this. So, basically, they're trying to get these powers, they're trying to get the swords to give to their master. He is realizing that they are actually horrible at this. And so he does one of those villain things like, if you can't do it, then I must do it myself. And then he gets up, and it's pretty cool. Then this girl, she's injured, so basically they're like, you should sleep or whatever, rest. And now, the thing is, you see that sword right there? That's the golden sword, but it turned to black. So basically she's saying it lost her power, the power, but then she turns it into gold again, bringing back its power. They're realizing that she's kind of powerful. Maybe it has to do with that thing I mentioned earlier about her being from a race that is basically lives forever. Yeah, she's pretty powerful, and we'll get into this later. But basically, I don't exactly know why. It's a little confusing, but I think it's that guy. No. I think it's, I want to say Logan, who's that guy on the screen right now, he knows someone who knows knows a lot about arenas, who's the same race as the girl with the sword. So basically, they think they can find out more about them for whatever reason. So basically, it's a pretty bad excuse. And as I'm saying this, I'm realizing how smart this is. But anyway, so basically, so they're like, alright, we're just gonna, go outside. We're gonna go and meet your friend. Also, me and Goose were talking, the real hero about this whole thing is the horse. I mean, like, he has to carry so many people. Eventually, they finally go outside to find a massacre of dead stickbots of all kinds. These stickbots are pretty dead. Now, we cut back to these amigos, and basically, Grandpa over here is starting to like the dragon. They're very happy, and this is pretty wholesome. Up until she finds this guy who, from what I remember, came from the outside. You can see he's been through a lot, and practically dead. In fact, I think he actually dies right here. So, they're a little confused what's going on out there. And Jesus Christ. Okay, I actually really like that scene. I like, the trees and stuff. Anyway, they're exploring, and they're like, he hugs him, and they're like, man, something's wrong. Like, people are dead and stuff. I mean, like, this isn't good. And then, the horse is like a little spooked. Everyone's a little spooked. What then proceeds is one of the craziest scenes in all the movie. It's one of the coolest fight scenes. No, but jokes aside, this is actually pretty amazing. So, what happens next is basically these two finally meet and have a pretty cool battle, I must say. And, yeah. But in the crossfire, from what I remember, Logan died. Which is a pretty crazy moment if you ask me. I mean, like, this guy has been with us the whole time. He's the one that led us here. He's pretty important, if you ask me. And so to see him disappear is kind of crazy. Gone. Reduced to atoms. But eventually he goes away, leaving his corpse. And wait, I don't remember that. He actually left the sword with it? Okay, that's a little weird. So after explaining to all his friends that their other friend is dead, and the horse awkwardly staring at them, holding hands, yeah, they leave. On to another journey. But, yeah, so, pretty intense. I mean, like, that's pretty bad. I mean, like, look at this scene right here. The villain literally got half of what he wanted. Like, that's just like that. I mean, like, this almost feels too easy, right? Well, no, not exactly. Wait, what is he doing? Oh my god, he's harnessing the power. No, but, yeah, he basically... Oh, okay, that right there, that's the axe. That's the magical axe that they need. Anyway, so yeah, pretty powerful stuff. So, this guy, all he needs is that one thing, and he will become the most powerful being in the universe or whatever. Now, this is the scene where these two plot lines or whatever finally fully cross over. See, look, the amigos there saying hello to the other peoples. There's talking, chatting, hey, what's up, bro? So, now here's the thing. It just looks like a friendly discussion when what I assume is Logan comes out of nowhere when I thought he was dead, right? Well, no. See, as they put it, psychopath Logan over here killed his entire village and a bunch of other stickbots just so that way he'd be easier for him to do this or whatever. Basically, this guy is literally insane. He basically tricked his friends to believing him, and now he's just... yeah. I feel like this is also a good time to mention that while it's not specifically stated, I think an interesting part about this show is that it appears that, like, they're almost, like, being told that, like, the bad guys are almost only doing all of this for a paycheck. They clarify this mainly once, and it's kind of a joke, but I feel that it's kind of important to note. Oh, and also, by the way, those, like, guys with the helmets... they're pretty easy to take off, which will be kind of relatively important later. And when they're taken off, it's found out that there is regular stickbots brainwashed almost with like this mind controlling device. And when this is put on, they also state this later on, they actually get a migraine from this. So, pretty crazy. the shot that now is being shown on screen is one of the reasons why I think this show is pretty special. While I'm sure other stikbot shows have done this in the past, and maybe I've seen the ones that have, I feel like this is done really well. Basically a flashback sequence of ones where he kind of backstabbed people, and these are actual shots in the movie, so if you watch this again, you can kind of notice these things. Like he steps back when the monster is attacking, and also, I mean, okay, if you have someone that, like, as I kind of pointed this out before, if you know someone who, like, basically is this type of, stikbot, I guess, that, like, is eternal and has all these interesting powers and stuff, why would you need to go to another person to learn about that? It's kind of suspicious, right? And that is where he went, outside and then he faked his own death. So, yeah, pretty crazy. Okay, back on track. So remember this blue stikbot from earlier? Well, yeah, he was a bad guy that was trying to kill them. But see, you might be wondering, they're on the same team now. Why are they fighting? Well, he kind of, like, betrayed him. Yeah, see now, the blue guy who was originally trying to kill them is now on their side, so he's a good guy. Which is, you know, probably helpful. And they talk about they kind of, in this shot, I'm pretty sure they start contemplating, like, is he actually, like, someone we should keep on our team? And they're just discussing, like, there's so little people on our team, why not? And he's pretty nice. So eventually they find a hallway with this guy with, like, an axe. I don't know if it's the same axe, but there's from this past scene. And this scene, I kind of, even if I wanted to mention it because of that shot right there, made me and Goose laugh. Basically, she barfs. And something interesting that we have noticed about this show is that the, when they had, like, there's this blue stikbot later on who, like, they get shot in the leg or whatever, and they have blue blood, and this stikbot who's pink has pink barf, so, I don't know, something interesting to keep in mind. After discussing some battle plans and some encouraging stuff, we're just basically just talking, and I really like this shot. It's pretty well done, and me and Goose liked it because they don't have any chairs, and they look really short. But especially for the grandpa, which you can see right there. He's trying his best. But basically, so the girl with the blonde hair, she doesn't want to battle. Well, no, I think she wants to battle, but the grandpa doesn't want to because, like, literally everyone in their family has died. So they're the only people who remain, which is a pretty dark thing. I mean, like, that's pretty bad, but, yeah, you get my point. So basically, they kind of argue about it, but it's all fine. So eventually, they'd, like, choose to open this portal thing, which is, like, something similar. I think they made it, when all of a sudden, something comes out of the portal. Oh my god. No, yeah, it's her parents. Which, I actually saw this shot. Remember I was saying I was skimming around the show before I watched the whole movie? Well, yeah, this is the shot I saw. Also, every time it turns black, I'm pretty sure that's an episode ending, because this was originally an episode that was all compiled into one big thing. Anyway, so yeah, she kind of, pretty wholesome shot, basically, reuniting with her parents. I like it. Pretty good. So remember I was saying the helmets were relatively easy to take off and basically unbrainwash them? Well, they created harder helmets that are harder to break off. I'm pretty sure those are the gold ones, but I'm unsure for sure. So basically, one of my favorite parts, especially in the earlier version of the show, is that those helmets, they actually, like, they all have distinct designs, so distinct characters. And it kind of reminds me of the Junkions from Transformers, but yeah. But I like it, so yeah. Anyway, after our main character, John, over here, gives a pretty good speech, which goes on for not too long. I mean, a little bit, like your average speech. He gives a couple speeches throughout this show, or movie, or whatever. And as this person says, they're pretty good. So, yeah. So then this big, fight scene happens. Pretty cool. This is the thing that shocked me and Goose a lot. So, there's this tank that's about to roll in, but it's entirely made out of paper, and it looks insane. Look at that. See, like, okay, it looks, but look, there's the treads, and I'm still shocked by it. It's amazing. Eventually, the blue transparent stikbot, who was originally against them, but is now with them, took off his helmet to reveal that he was another character from a previous episode or part in the movie. So, pretty cool. Anyway, so he basically goes on a suicide mission, or I think he lives, but he basically goes on this mission to eliminate this group of bad guys. So it gives our main characters some times. That way they're actually able to, to defeat the bad guys. Mainly like the, big green guy. What then proceeds is a really cool and long fight scene. I really like this. It's pretty cool, pretty snazzy. Yeah, so you can kind of get what's going here, but I really like it. I have to admit, I really like this kind of ending battle. It was a good way to finish things off. So yeah, some battling, some resolving, heroes fighting each other. Or yeah, wait, no, that didn't sound right. You get what I'm saying. But eventually, we go to this. He gets electrocuted, which eventually causes this little random Lego thing to pop up out of nowhere, which is kind of interesting. The girl, I think she understands what it is, but she knows it's important, at least. Right as she's about to hit it, she gets shot in a very cool kind of slow scene by this guy. Eventually, he catches her, kind of, and now she's, like, dead. Me and Goose were kind of joking that, like, the trident he threw at her was kind of like the one from Minecraft with, like, one of the enchantments. After this, they have a pretty cool fight scene, which I don't want to show the whole thing because I don't want to spoil it. But as you can guess, our main character wins. Also, while this is happening, our heroes are fighting their villains, basically. Imagine Batman versus Joker. And yeah, that dragon eats him at the end. Eventually, our hero takes his sword and presses this mysterious box, which activates all those heads and helmets to just disappear, bringing everyone back to normal. But they mentioned this later on, but I think something that's kind of funny is that, remember how I was talking about how it gave him a migraine? Well, they basically, imagine like you're free, but then you get an immediate migraine. Anyway, so here's a pretty cool scene. He tries to, basically bring her life back with the sword, but he can't harness the power. He keeps on trying and trying, but he eventually brings her back. And pretty wholesome. Eventually, one day later, he looks back, realizing that was a lot that happened. I mean, like, stuff went down. Like, that was pretty crazy. So, pretty intense. Anyway, he goes, looks out at his yard. Well, actually, maybe it's not his because it's his owner's, but you get my point. And he realizes it's good to not have battling. And yeah, eventually... Oh, wait, here's the music. Oh, okay. So they go to visit their friend's grave. I actually don't know who died. I'm not too... I want to say it's Logan, but I'm... Oh, no, it's the guy from... It's the blue guy. Alright. Okay, it might not be, but, it's my best guess. After reuniting with his friends, they're basically, just chilling. A lot of them got injured in battle. Like, Grandpa's back is worse than ever. We also see some 10-pound weights in the background. But anyway, yeah. Pretty big battle yesterday, if I do say so myself. Pretty much the entire universe against them. But this good old game did it. But yeah, so basically, with all this being said, the last thing that happens is, well, see, she's still not on the right world, so she needs to get back to her place. So basically, they're gonna go and take her. The problem is that most of them are injured, so the only one that can take her is John. Also, it's across the whole house, so I guess this is a pretty big, far place for him. Which, I mean, I'm gonna assume their house is 2-story, considering a lot of the shots and angles. So, I wouldn't be surprised if it took them that long to cross. So basically, only they can go. So eventually, they go to the portal, everyone goes back in. And she's like, oh, okay, hey, could you guys go in first? Which I always thought was kind of weird, considering, like, you haven't seen them in years. Like, wouldn't you go with them? Eventually, he hands her back the gun, and me and Goose were like, oh my god, they're gonna kiss. But, see, the thing is, they don't kind of. See, it's like they hug, but, like, I don't know, because, like, I don't know if they're supposed to, because there's no sound or anything, but, like, their heads aren't touching because of the hair. Like, they literally can't touch each other. It's kind of ironic. Anyway, so they say one last goodbye, and there goes one of the best Stikbot series, maybe, of all time.
Just kidding, kind of.
Dude, what a coincidence. His new show is premiering right now. Or
right now, like as you speak, it's premiering.
Yeah, like the official series trailer. What?
I don't think it ever ended.
So yeah, it's pretty convenient that literally right after we started watching it, like the movie he just made, this was premiering. So from my understanding, it seems like, I don't know if this is in the same universe or something, but it seems like this is almost a prequel to the other one. Not like that the events cross each other, they probably will, but just seems like it's in the other universe that takes place before. And there's this one stikbot I think is about to be shown on screen with a custom face. And I actually really like what he did, kind of like a scar on his face. But yeah, this looks incredible. And he says that there are going to be supposedly episodes every day. He says that on his banner on YouTube, but he also says at the end that there'll be episodes some days. So it's like kind of sometimes they'll be in some episode. It's like sometimes maybe every day, maybe it's like every other day. Like it's kind of depends that when there's going to be new episodes. But this, like that shot right there, looks like they're exploring more environments too, which is going to be really interesting. And yeah, so I'm extremely excited for this new series. And yeah, so I'm excited. So yeah, without further ado, that was amazing. I mean, I've been talking about this for 30 minutes. You know that means it's good. I consider myself someone who doesn't always enjoy action. I like movies that are very calm and stuff. But my god, did this movie get it right. Listen, like I said before, the slow FPS really helps this scenario. And also, like some other animations, I feel like that this guy just knows how, like, kind of fighting works, I guess. And also, just the perfect movements. I mean, look at that. Okay, yeah, maybe it's laggy. Yeah, maybe sometimes the effects could be maybe a little better. But it is still amazing. Like, you cannot tell me this is not good. And this is the first fight in the movie. There are tons of them. And this just makes me more excited for the second one that's coming out. So yeah, I'm pretty happy. And I can't get enough of this thing. The story is amazing along with the plot and just everything. I feel that the stuff, like, yeah, there are definitely problems with this, and I think that every show has problems and every movie has problems. But I feel like that this gets so much right that most of those things can be kind of overshadowed because it's done so well. I think that this is this is amazing, and I hope this goes down as like one of the best stikbot shows ever made. I mean, this is like literally top tier. I really, really like this. So, with that said, I can't wait for the next one. And I also want to spread the word about this Sticktuber because he's amazing. I mean, he made this amazing show, and like I want more people to know about it. Because I feel like, along with a lot of other Stickbot shows, I feel like that this is one of those kind of mandatory ones. Like, you kind of have to see it. I mean, even if you don't finish it or whatever, I think it's just an important show to see. But yeah, if you've made it this far, thanks. But yeah, this is an amazing show. I really love it, and I hope that everyone enjoys it too. But yeah, his channels and stuff will be linked in the description, along with person who like kind of watched this with me and helped me get through this. But yeah, this movie's amazing. I love it. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next one. Bye.